guys, my name is Julia and I am the creator of this channel. Today, we will be discussing the story you sent me. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and leaving a comment down below. So let's get started. I caught my wife red-handed with another man in our house. It was her birthday on Tuesday and I had left work early to surprise her with flowers. Little did I know, she had a surprise for me as well. As I walked through the front door, I noticed clothes scattered from the entrance, all the way to our bedroom. At first, I couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. Then it hit me there were both men's and women's clothes. It was clear that they had just finished having some fun and were now in the shower cleaning up. Apparently, my wife enjoys it in her backside, even though she won't do it with me. I could hear them laughing and giggling about how great it was. I was completely numb at that point. I took a step back, went into the living room, and sat on the edge of the couch for a few minutes. My mind was racing. Then I noticed all of his belongings scattered on the floor. I gathered all of his clothes, took them out to the driveway, and poured charcoal starter fluid on them before setting them on fire. The only things I didn't burn were his keys and phone. When I returned to the house, my wife was standing there in a towel, looking at me with a blank expression. I wished her a happy birthday, and she burst into tears. The other man came out wrapped in a towel, and I told him to leave before I punched him. I was on the verge of losing it. He started looking for his clothes, and I informed him that they were burning in the driveway. He screamed, "What did you do?" I handed him his keys and phone and told him to leave. He asked for his towel, and I told him to give it to me. My wife started yelling at me, saying I couldn't do that to him and that I was offending him. I looked at her and said, "You didn't have a problem offending me. You let him do it in your backside, but not me." My wife then told him she would get him a pair of sweatpants. I warned her that if he touched any of my belongings, I would punch him. She said I couldn't do that and that I couldn't send him out like that. I told her to stop trying to protect him and asked her, "What about protecting me?" She just stared at me with a blank expression, as if she didn't understand. The other man started walking towards me, saying he wanted a pair of pants at least. I told him no and to leave. That's whenever he tried to grab my arm. So he got to take home a black eye along with no pants. What a freaking disaster. Just because I wanted to surprise my wife on her birthday? Excite. That's a little bit more about us. I'm 36, she's 38, and we have a 16-year-old daughter. I threw my wife out on her birthday. She's living with her mom, who is also a cheater. I have not spoken to her since Tuesday. She's been blowing up mine and our daughter's phones. I had explained to my daughter what her mother did. Not in detail, but just that she cheated. She is heartbroken and angry. I retained a lawyer this morning. I finally texted my wife and told her I retained a lawyer, and I will meet her later today so she can try to explain herself. This is probably a bad idea, but I need answers. Is there a standard list of questions that I should ask? Because right now, I can't think clearly. Whenever I found them, they were in the shower. It was all steamed up, so they didn't know I was standing at the doorway. I could hear them laughing and giggling about the love contact they had just had and how he loved her backside because it was so tight. I texted her and told her I did not want to meet up today. I just can't stand to look at her yet. She started blowing up my phone with phone calls and texts, swearing that she can change, saying that she's already gotten rid of that a-hole, whoever he was. I did tell her not to delete anything from her phone. I want to see all of her texts, whatever she did. Routine. Sunday morning. We met at a local coffee shop this morning. I was recording the conversation with my phone on the table. She wanted to know why. I told her frankly I didn't trust her anymore. I asked her why, because she's already given up on it. She wants to be the wife and mother that our daughter needs. I told her it's a little late. She asked if I was ready to throw away 16 years of marriage. I threw it back in her face. I'm not the one who cheated. I asked her who the guy was. I told my wife that she has to contact his wife and tell her what she did if there's any hope for us in the future. She said she feels guilty and remorseful for what she did. I told her she felt guilty and remorseful for getting caught, not for what she did because she didn't have any intentions of stopping. She started crying, saying that she knew it was wrong and that she was going to stop. I told her to stop lying to me. I asked her to give me her phone, and she did, to my surprise. She'd not deleted anything off of it. She showed me all the points where they started getting closer. She told me how many times they had met up and had been intimate. I asked her why she could have physical intimacy with him, but not with me. She said that she was the wife and mother, and she didn't want me to look down on her for her desires. I threw it back in her face. I said I wouldn't have asked if I would look down on you. She showed me the text where she told the guy that she could not have contact with him anymore. She wanted me to tell her daughter to please contact her, that she wanted to talk to her. I told her, no, it's her decision. I will not force her to talk to you. I also expressed that she needs to get into counseling and fix herself because there's something seriously damaged inside of her. And then I contacted a lawyer and started separation papers. At that point, she just completely broke down and started sobbing. I told her she had 60 days before the papers were done for her to show me some sort of remorse for what she did to me and our daughter, and not just shame and guilt for getting caught. I told her at this point she needs to just move in with her mother until we can figure out the future. I told her to go get an SD test, and I told her that even though we're separated, I want to know exactly where she is at all times. I want a tracking device on her phone, and I want her to check in with me, because if I find out she even whispers to him, I will take her for everything. At this point in my life, I'm questioning my entire marriage. I feel like she could have been cheating the entire time. I informed her of that too. She promised that it was a one-time only affair. I told her I don't believe her. If you can do it once, you can do it 100 times. I informed her at this point I am through with our marriage unless she can give me a reason not to leave and to stay in it. But the mountain she has to climb is a very large one. My daughter and I had to make an 8-hour emergency drive home yesterday. My cheating wife took a bunch of pills on Christmas Eve and was rushed to the emergency room. She is still hurting us, so we are all back under the same roof. So I guess she got what she wanted. I'm telling her later today that we're done. I can't live with her. She is still being selfish, and she traumatized our daughter on Christmas Eve. Last night, I had a long talk with my wife. I told her that we are divorcing, and she started to fall apart. I informed her that she's done wrong and that we are separating. She's caused too much damage to our family, and her actions on Christmas Eve have seriously traumatized our daughter. Her selfish behavior is unacceptable, and I can no longer tolerate it. She can go and live with her affair partner if she wants to. I no longer care about her. I realized yesterday that I have no feelings for her. I don't know if it's because of the trauma or something else, but all I can think about is moving forward without her. I told her she needs to find a new place to live. She keeps insisting that she wants to be with us, that she chooses us. But I reminded her that she would still be with her affair partner if I hadn't caught her, and I am okay with her being with him. She said he doesn't want her, which is no surprise since she reached out to him. So now I am her backup plan. She doesn't know what she's gonna do. I told her she should have thought about that before having an affair. I believe our relationship is over. Today, I packed up all of her clothes and put them on the back porch for her to pick up. I'm also planning to go to her affair partner's house tonight to talk to his wife. Update, I have decided not to speak to the other betrayed spouse. Frankly, I no longer care. It doesn't matter what anyone says. I am done. My focus now is on moving forward for the sake of my daughter. My soon-to-be ex-wife is still not involved in our lives. I have chosen to have no contact with her. My daughter can choose to talk to her if she wants, but so far she has not wanted to. From what I understand, she spends most days locked in her room at my mother-in-law's house. She has been abandoned by everyone who knows her. While I do not feel sorry for her, I do pity her. Update, last night, I had a change of heart. I went to visit the other betrayed spouse. I brought a packet of information about the affair that I had collected. I gave it to her and explained everything to her. She asked if I was the one who confronted her husband. I said yes. She mentioned that it was odd that he came home with a black eye one day, claiming it was from a road rage incident. We talked for about 40 minutes. I told her about my decision to divorce my wife and the level of betrayal that occurred behind our backs. While I was there, she called her husband and told him not to come home and that she knew everything. This morning, she reached out to me and asked if we could meet again. So we are planning to meet and go over all the evidence, hopefully with the help of our divorce attorneys, because I am certain that she is also headed for divorce. Sure, she's headed in that route too. Update, I have unblocked my wife so we can communicate about the divorce. She's agreed to an uncontested divorce. We're splitting the assets 60-40 in my favor. I'm keeping the house, and as of right now, I have full custody of our daughter. Currently, our verbal communication is minimal and mostly revolves around our daughter and the divorce. She has attempted to discuss the affair with me a couple of times, but I've shut her down. There's nothing else I need to know about it. I did confirm that she has ended things with the other man, because there was some information shared between me and the other betrayed spouse that I know she sent to her husband. My wife is unaware of this information, as she would react strongly if she found out. In less than 6 weeks, I should be happily divorced. I have found comfort in spending time with the other betrayed spouse, whom we will refer to as M. We are helping each other through this difficult time. Now, onto the second story. I made a big mistake and cheated on my husband. I am deeply sorry, but I was shocked when he did the same to me. 2 months ago, my husband at 2007 may caught me 25 female in the midst of a 7-month affair with a coworker. He was overseas for work, which greatly hindered our communication and closeness. At the same time, I had just started a new job in a new city, and this man felt so compatible and magnetic. It was easy to talk to him, and our conversations turned into an emotional affair, which eventually became physical. In the moment, it felt like destiny, but looking back, it was nothing more than a typical affair. It is the worst mistake I have ever made in my life, and I deeply regret it. I cannot believe I was so foolish and selfish to someone I love. I have completely cut off contact with the other man and have given my husband access to all my phone records, emails, and online accounts. I have also allowed him to track my location, and I make it a priority to answer his calls, even if I am with a client at work. We've been attending weekly couples counseling and reading a book together, not just as friends. Despite a few challenges, we've been getting along well for the past 2 to 3 weeks. He has even been able to say I love you again, although he has made it clear that it is not unconditional. I am investing in this marriage like never before, and I am doing everything I can to put his every need above mine. I make extra effort to cook for him, buy him snacks he likes, keep the apartment extra clean, dress up for him when we go out, and satisfy him in bed. I regularly ask him how he is feeling, if he has anything he wants to talk about, or if there are any questions I can help him answer. In the beginning, he would obsess about the details, but I have come to learn that he responds better if I take the initiative to check in with him and let him know that I am not just trying to sweep things under the rug. I know that I am the cause of all the pain I have put him through, and at the same time, I am the one he wants to help him heal. Despite the progress we are making in therapy and in reconnecting with each other, he still has occasional episodes where he is inconsolably angry, malicious, and outright cruel. He brings up things that I know I cannot change, things I know I did wrong, and reminds me how foolish I was. For the last few days, he has started to demand uncomfortable acts in bed that I've never done with anyone. And he rationalizes it by saying that I made our sex life cheap by sharing it so freely with someone else. When I tell him that this makes me feel depressed and crushes my sense of self-respect, he lashes out and asks how I can respect myself after what I did. In those moments, I honestly do not have an answer. I just look at him and see no love in his eyes at all. It feels like the loving, caring husband I once had has become a monster of my own creation. I feel like he is purposely pushing me to my limits just to see how much suffering I can take and still come crawling back to him. I understand. I betrayed his trust and shook the foundation of our relationship, and now he wants to see what is left binding us together. I am so remorseful for what I did, and I wish more than anything that I could take away his pain. I guess that is the reason I suffer through it and continue to try to make him happy, despite the ups and downs. But at the end of the day, despite all I do for him, I feel worthless, unappreciated, and unlovable. I feel like a failure when we are intimate. I feel like I would be better off dead, so that he does not have to deal with the burden of staying with a cheating wife. I want him to be free to find true happiness with someone who will never betray him like I did. Please help me. I am devastated and desperate. What more can I do to bring him back? Thank you all for staying with us. I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.